Hello everyone, I'm James. Welcome to this technical update video. I've realized that actually these short 2 to 3 minute videos are pretty popular, judging on yesterday's video, which was like 3 minutes long, and it got loads and loads of views. So I think the idea is that you can just glance at them without having to troll through 25 minutes of video in order to get the gen that you need. So let's try and do that again today, and let's start from the left hand side with the dollar. And as you might know from yesterday's video, I'm now short on the US dollar, trading the dollar index directly. And I think that we might actually reject here at the 50-period moving average. My overall view is a move down into about 92. That's the 78.6% fib in that blob down there. And that's the larger picture that I'm looking at. I've been saying for a couple of years now that we'll probably get down to that level. And now that we're almost there, we're just sort of bouncing shy of it a little bit. But I think we'll try and get there. Allow for a lot more chopping around in this current range between, I think, around about 100 and about 98, something like that. And then eventually move down into that level. Also notice, if I go back to the day chart, that we've got a Bollinger Band squeeze, very tight squeezed, clawed in Bollinger Bands, and that means a large move is likely to come as the volatility has dropped off. So I think that's more likely to be down than up. So maybe we'll have to probe up a little bit, just above 100, and then slam right down. A big drop in the dollar will send risk assets higher, I believe. And we're long across the board really on indices and quite a lot of stock names, including Mag 7 names. As you can see from yesterday's moves, big moves up on the NASDAQ and the S&P yesterday, right up into the blob. Now we're in the danger zone, although we have broken up through the moving averages, and we've broken and closed above the blue trend line and now approaching the black trend line. And I'm looking for this sort of path. A break up and a hold, first of all the black trend line, and then potentially the bull flag top, and then a bounce out of there. And I think we could go a lot higher on the NASDAQ. The same across the board, same on the S&P. S&P did a similar job yesterday, pretty good. And we also saw some earnings coming out. Now let's have a look at those. There's the S&P, also really good. We're long on that one too. We also saw earnings from a couple of names, including NVIDIA. That came out really well. I don't know what the post-market result on NVIDIA was, but we're long on NVIDIA. And another one with earnings yesterday with Circle, and we had longs on that one already, and that went absolutely ballistic after earnings. As you can see, pretty good result there as well. So that's rallied up, and we have a shaven head close, which is really bullish. We've got to get through those highs. If we do, and maybe even before that at the open, I'll add some more longs onto this existing trade. All right, now that's all the stock stuff and the dollar. Bitcoin, whether you believe in this rally or not, it's pretty impressive. We held the bottom of this bull flag absolutely perfectly at the 78.6% fib, bounced out with big volume yesterday, and held the level pretty well. Actually hold the 20. It's better seen here on the futures chart. It's a much cleaner chart, so let's zoom into this one. And technically, it's absolutely beautiful. And now I think we have a chance of getting up into the easy zone, closing that CME gap, and getting up to about 84,000, and then we enter the very difficult part, getting through the volume node here. But if we do get up and close above into the easy zone, this yellow zone, I think we'll move up through there very, very quickly, close that CME gap, and get up to about 84,000, probably the point of control closer to 90, and then decide what to do thereafter. There's a real chance that we've actually seen the Bitcoin bottom, but I'm not going to call it just yet, although I am long. So make of that what you will. And of course, the rest of them have done pretty well as well. I'm long across the board on Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. I also have some other smaller altcoin names in different wallets, but that's another story. Now, going on to metals, gold broke out of its ascending triangle, held it beautifully. That's the top of the triangle, the purple line. We're above the 20-period moving average, all the moving averages now. We broke out through the top, came back to retest it. We got long on the retest a couple of days ago. Absolutely perfect. Bounced out a little bit flaccidly yesterday, and today holding there still. Now, I don't know if we're going to get up to the 786 at about 53.30, and then potentially the top, maybe a double top, and maybe we go through there, or do we have to have a bigger correction on gold? I don't know. My favorite idea actually is a bigger correction, but I think maybe we'll test the 786 here first at 533.0 and then move down. And we could move down to the channel bottom and the 50-period moving average down here at about 4.8, or we could move even deeper back down to the original triangle breakout level and into some of the points of control down here, much closer to $4,000. Pretty interesting, but we are long for now. I'm hedged on silver, but I'm also long on copper. So long on gold, long on copper, hedged on silver. Now, natural gas, it's broken down, of course. I put a post up on X this morning saying we've been scorned by the Widowmaker again. I was hoping we'd at least get to the falling wedge top where I was going to hedge the position at about 2.98. We didn't even get there. We only got to the 20-period moving average. We didn't even get to the 50 mid-level on the RSI and then flop down. Pretty bearish, really. And I think I'm going to have to hedge this if it breaks down. Now, if it does break down, Let's see where we could get to, and glance across to the left-hand side, and you'll see some of the blobs that I've got drawn in. There they are there. Now, any of those blobs, you can pause the video and check out the levels, but I'll help you out. And these are, the levels are 2.89, we've already surpassed that one. Then we've got 2.78, that's just below us right now. And then we've got one at 2.708, call it 2.71. Right, let's have a look at where we are and go back to the 4-hour chart and see what the exact price is, 2.79. So we've got a couple of levels just below us that we might have to test. However, we still have not broken down through the bottom of the wedge, even though we're back down to where we were. And there's still a chance we could bounce out of here and still do perform the path that I thought we might originally. And that would be a bounce back up to the top of the wedge, back down to the bottom of the wedge, and then maybe a breakout, or potentially we might have to just have a clear out through the bottom into, and maybe even below, one of those blobs that I showed you earlier, and then up. But I think generally around about $3 or just below, 270, maybe slightly below there, I hope not, will be the low of the sort of current range of about $3 to $5 with spikes either side allowed for. So there we are, there's the 4-hour chart. Let's have a look at the 1-hour chart and see if we can get any more info from there. There's the 1 hour bouncing out a tiny bit, and we might even go to the 15, and still that line is holding. So really interesting. I don't hold a great deal of hope for it, but you never know, it might just hold here, and I'm always looking to add more size if we can perform a proper reversal. Now on WTI oil, I'm still short, but hedged over there. So short here, hedged over there. So I've got a long position here. Stops are at break even. If this price comes back down to the hedge level, I'll remove the long side of the hedge at break even, leaving the shorts open. But we've got the war with Iran still, everything's on tenterhooks right now, and this is just a retracement. We haven't got down through the breakout top even. So don't think this is moving down or up. It's more likely to move up if there is going to be war. And I think we could get into that blob before moving down. And at the extreme, and please watch the last video, Sunday night video, where I go into this in more detail. At the extreme, we might have to reach up into closer to 80 rather than closer to 70. But I don't think we're going to get through that blob if we do even get there. But don't be deceived by this little trickle down. We might have to get into the blob. Right, and that's that. And I think, I'm still long on uranium, URA, and I'm still looking to get more longs on lithium. And I think that's all on this page. I'm still long on the USD ZAR, and I was long on TLT, and that's about it on this page. Let's go back to Bitcoin quickly, seeing as this market's open, and that's looking pretty good. And on the 4-hour, let's quickly zoom in, because I'm trading this quite actively now, looking for this to break out. There's a real possibility. And I'm going to look at this on the 4-hour. This is the Bitcoin chart, and really doing quite well, even poking through that potential bull flag top. We're still within it. We've got to get above it still, but it's busy trying. And if we get into the empty zone, as I said before, there's plenty of opportunity for us to get much, much higher. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I really would appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Take care.